The date palm fruit is assuming a social function among the houses during wedding fatihas and naming ceremonies, where it is supplanting the kola nut. Perhaps that may explain why you see heaps of the fruit on sale on the streets and in marketplaces in major towns and villages in the northern part of this.
Gas pipelines are the arteries for powering electricity. When the artery is burst, then the entire system collapses. Vandalizing gas pipelines is a criminal.
Hello, good afternoon and welcome. This is Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I am Isaac Nkuma. Governor Olusegun Mimiko of Ondo State has made a passionate appeal to President Muhammadu Buhari to wade into what he called the potentially dangerous political crisis in the Sunshine State. The State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the governor who met the president behind closed doors described as shocking and disturbing the replacement of Eyitayo Jegede's name with that of Jimoh Ibrahim as PDP candidate for the forthcoming governorship elections in the state by INEC.
The legality of it, the politics of it, that's just no justification for what INEC has done. It can cause conflagration in the state. And that is why, as the Chief Security Officer of the state, I have come to alert Mr. President of the potential danger of this injustice so that we can nip it at the bud.
What was Mr. President's reaction?
Mr. President has promised to look into it, and that if there was any patent injustice, that is given assurance that it will be rectified.
Your Excellency, as we speak, there are people on the streets of Abuja, warning places, protesting. What will you be telling them?
The whole day, from 5 a.m., 4 a.m., I've been up and running. I've been on phone to major stakeholders to ensure that we keep the peace in the state.
And ahead of the Ondo State governorship election on November 2016, November 26, 2016, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has released a list of 28 candidates and their deputies. Ifeanyi Okafor reports.
The list of 28 governorship candidates and their running mates was released by INEC late Thursday evening, with Oluwarotimi Odunayo Akeredolu as the governorship candidate of the APC and Jimoh Ibrahim Folonsho as the governorship candidate of the PDP. Only 4 from the 28 political parties contending for the #1 seat of Ondo State have females as their standard bearers. Also, 5 females are running for position of deputy governor. The commission approved 47 domestic and international observer groups for the election. Deputy Director of Voter Education and Publicity, Nick Dazang, clarified the commission's position on 10 newly registered political parties.
If a party is in breach of the requirements of the Constitution, particularly sections 221 to 226, its certificate can be withdrawn. In the aftermath of the registration, they went to court, and the court ordered that we should restore their registration. And in compliance with that court order, the Commission on the 1st of September 2016 decided to restore these 10 parties.
The number of registered political parties in Nigeria now totals 40. In Abuja, Ifeanyi Okafor, NTA News.
In the meantime, there has been protest ongoing in Akure, the Ondo State capital, over the removal of Mr. Eyitayo Jegede as the PDP candidate in the November 26 governorship election. Residents took to the streets to protest the non-inclusion of Eyitayo Jegede's name in the candidates' final list released by INEC late Thursday. Reports say major highways in the capital city and other parts of the state have been blocked by protesters burning tires, while activities in the capital city is at lull as residents stay indoors over the fear that the protest might soon escalate. Meanwhile, the Ondo State government has appealed for calm and peace over the conflicting pronouncements emanating from the courts and INEC on the governorship candidates in respect of the forthcoming election. A statement by Ondo State Information Commissioner, Mr. Kayode Akimade, urged the people to not to take laws into their hands. And still staying with politics, All Progressives Grand Alliance, APGA, says members of its National Working Committee has resolved the recent internal disagreement that rocked the national leadership of the party. National Publicity Secretary of APGA, Ifeatu Obi-Okoye, who briefed the media after the National Working Committee's meeting of the party held in Abuja, affirmed that the national stakeholders of APGA resolved the dispute. Timothy Yusuf reports.
The National Publicity Secretary of APGA disclosed that the resolution to stay as one united party was reached at a meeting convened on the 11th of October 2016 between members of the National Working Committee and national stakeholders of the party, led by their chairman, Board of Trustees and Governor of Anambra State, Mr. Willie Obiano.
The elsewhere internal disagreement in APGA was unanimously resolved. We further reaffirm our support to the national leadership of the party under Ozombu Dr. Victor Ikoye as the national chairman of APGA.
Mr. Ifeatu Obi-Okoye urged aggrieved members of the party's National Working Committee to abide by the said decision and revert to status quo in the interest of stability and the progress of APGA. 21 out of the 28 members of the party's National Working Committee attended the meeting in Abuja. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
And away from politics, the National Council on Information has opened in Asaba, Delta State, of the state governor, Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, calling on information managers to help in putting Nigeria first in the daily reportage. The council, which is the highest body on information management, says brought together state commissioners of information, chief executives of federal and state parastatals, and other information managers from across the country. The forum was chaired by the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed.
Did not need to know anyone before gaining admission to the best public schools available. We must change the widespread perception of our people as corrupt. People have asked, what is this change agenda all about? The answer is simple. It is a change from impunity to accountability, change from corruption to transparency.
And the National Assembly is contemplating a new legislation to effectively enforce local government autonomy to enable them perform their constitutional responsibility. A member of the House of Representatives, Anaya Nebe, disclosed this on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria program. Timothy Yusuf reports that other discussants also believe that local government autonomy is a critical tool for total transformation of the third tier of government.
Speaking on local government's internally generated revenue and development, guests on the program say the purpose for which the third tier of government was created is largely been defeated due to obvious reasons.
Local governments in the past construct roads, drainages, markets, because they had access to their own revenue, their own share of revenue, both at from the national point and from internally generated revenue. But these days, almost all the local government areas operate as appendages of the state government.
Elections into local councils areas are being held by CIEC. Definitely, if you are not a crony of the governor of that state, you can never win any election in that state. So there is no competition in the first place.
Executive Chairman of the Abuja Municipal Area Council, however, differ, pointing out that the FCT over the years has given the area councils free hands to operate.
As far as freedom of autonomy is concerned, a kobo from the federation account that goes to the local government has never been tampered with, in particular reference to the government of today.
Some of the discussants who believe that local government councils presently have managers and administrators in place of elected chairmen said things can only get better when some issues bordering on the constitution are resolved.
Local government ought to be politically accountable. And one way of doing that is to communicate their budget.
That mistrust between the people and those in government is there. And then the people in government also, at the local government level, some of them don't have the moral right to tell the people to pay their tax.
The guests further decried the high rate of impunity and corruption thriving at the third tier of government. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
And youths have been identified as responsible for a greater percentage of crimes committed across the world. This assertion was at the Nigeria Security and Youth Conference with focus on youths as agents for change and peaceful coexistence in Nigeria, which held at the National Human Rights Commission, Abuja. Kolo Mohammed has details.
Checking high degree of crimes among the youths remains a major concern which has affected economic, social and political stability in Nigeria. Executive Secretary, National Human Rights Commission, Professor Bem Angwe, says this is a challenge that must be tackled.
Most of the times, we do consider the issue of security as being an exclusive responsibility of government. But indeed, security should be a concern to both government and its citizens.
The youths were not only described as the leaders of tomorrow, but the assets of today. Hence, the need for them to be responsible and promote peaceful coexistence.
Well, first I would like to commend Mr. President, our dear President Muhammadu Buhari, because of the effort he has been making for peace and calmness at the northeast and at the Niger Delta. In every part of the country, he has been doing well. He has been doing tremendously well.
We necessarily don't need to come from the same family lineage, but be what you say, what you do by the person beside you is what makes you your brother's keeper.
It is very imperative for our young Nigerians to share information with the security operative.
The conference resolved to propagate its message in other parts of the country. In Abuja, Kolo Mohammed, NTA News.
The management of the State House has resolved to eliminate all forms of corruption and corrupt tendencies in the seat of government in line with the National Reorientation Campaign, A Change Begins With Me. The Permanent Secretary, Jalal Arabi, stated this at the opening of a sensitization on misconduct in the public service for the directorate-level staff of the State House. Adamu Sambo reports.
The session organized by the State House Anti-Corruption and Transparency Unit is meant to internalize the values of probity, transparency and accountability in the conduct of government business in the State House. The Permanent Secretary, Jalal Arabi, restated his personal commitment and that of the State House management towards eliminating corruption, minimizing waste and leakages, as well as enforcing compliance with integrity codes as cardinal focus of the Buhari administration.
I urge you participants to avail yourselves of this unique opportunity to become change agents in the war being waged against corruption and corruptive behaviors. After all, a change begins with us. Therefore, please and please, let us be more responsible.
While commending the staff for accepting to form the nucleus of the vanguard to fight corruption, the Permanent Secretary assured them that outstanding compliance behavior will be appropriately rewarded.
I again reiterate that State House management will place a very high premium on all of you to own and drive the processes for reforming and improving the State House towards optimizing efficiency.
The government is for all of us to provide services, to deliver services. And when we allow corruption to take over the will of governance, then it is non-dimittis for all of us. So we are using this as a preventive mode to make sure that corruption does not continue to happen. And where it is happening now, it should stop.
Participants at the forum promised to live above board in the discharge of their responsibilities towards guaranteeing a corrupt-free Nigeria state of government. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
The newly nominated chairman for the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission, Professor Akintunde Ibitayo Akinwade, says he is deeply honored that President Muhammadu Buhari and his team thought him fit for the post. He denied ever rejecting his nomination for the job, adding that he is prepared to honor Senate invitation for screening as soon as he clears with the university. In a press release, Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, says Professor Akintunde Ibitayo Akinwade had. Adebola Brooksland Sunday reports that secondary school students from across the country featured in the competition.
For the past 4 days, these young Nigerian inventors have been showcasing their innovations in line with the theme of the expo, which is improved technology and impetus to mechanized agriculture, renewable energy, and economic development of the nation. This, the organizers say, is in line with the diversification policy of the federal government.
So we can further the cause of unity, project government policy and principles, and believe.
Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, was represented by the Executive Director, Finance and Administration of the NTA, Philip Ofegbu.
We concentrate on the youth, the people I call the trustees of our posterity. That's what they are. If we don't build on them, we waste away. Because they own today more or less, they own tomorrow on their own.
Executive Director Training and Capacity Building, Ibrahim Damisa, represented the Director General of the NTA, Yakubu Ibn Muhammad.
The NTA on its part is promising to continue to improve more richly this annual harvest of creativity, intellectualism, and most of all, the educational development for the nation.
We'll be having an exposition before the end of the year or very early next year. We will reach out to them to further exhibit these things that they have shown to the world with a view to encouraging them the more.
We must recognize and appreciate and encourage and document any scientific discovery by our children, by our students in Nigeria. There's a bill already that will be amended.
Tene Praise Adamu from Taraba State emerged the overall winner in the junior category for science and technology.
It's so exciting to be the first position. We like to encourage more students to come and make their state proud.
The expo is the 10th in the series organized by the NTA Educational Television. Adebola Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
This is nationwide on the NTA network service. Lagos is our first port of call, and Abdullahi is standing by to bring us stories making the rounds there. Hello, Abdullahi, is over to you.
For joining us in Lagos, Isaac. The Nigerian Navy is consolidating its presence at the Tongeji Island, which is a Nigerian territory close to the Republic of Benin. This is with a view to protecting the island from all forms of incursions and menace of smuggling. Tongeji Island is a village in Ikpokia local government area of Ogun State. It's about 2.5 hours by boat from Lagos, but it takes only 5 to 10 minutes to get to Benin Republic from the island. Its proximity to Benin Republic exposed it to incursions by some security agencies from that country with an eventual plan to take over the island.
We are getting intelligence reports that our brothers, gendarmes from Benin Republic were coming to take over the place, and they were already trying to put some structures when we decided that, look, let's come and, show presence, federal government presence here. And that informed the reason why we feel that we should secure our waterway.
With this intelligence, the Chief of the Naval Staff instructed the formation of a forward operating base on the island. The Nigerian Navy also renovated the local primary school and health center.
When I came here about 3 months ago, this school you are seeing was completely dilapidated.
We really appreciate and give a very big applause to the Nigerian Navy.
The flag officer commanding the Western Naval Command also commissioned a gymnasium and arcade at the NNS Beecroft. The Federal Road Safety Corps has appealed to all motorists to install speed limiting devices in their vehicles as stiffer penalties await defaulters by January 2017. The Commercial Federal Road Safety Corps Boboye Oyeyemi stated this in a message during the flag off of a special rally organized by the Corps in Lagos. Rotimi Oluwagbemi reports.
With the theme, Crash the Crash, Speed Kills, the Zonal Commanding Officer RS2 Lagos, Assistant Corps Marshal Shehu Saki, said that the rally will avail stakeholders in the transportation sector the opportunity to be informed on policies geared towards promoting safety on Nigerian roads. He stressed that over 50% of road accidents are as a result of overspeeding, overloading, and use of expired tires.
Speed limiting device. What we are doing presently is to further deepen their knowledge. And we have already, as I have told you, commenced on advisory enforcement. By January, we are going to start the actual enforcement of speed limiting device.
Only the living celebrates. You can only celebrate when you are alive. So it is for you to know that you must be very cautious as a driver, as a passenger. Even as a passenger, you have every right to stop that driver before he kills you. Because most drivers do not die in accident. Passenger dies more.
There were goodwill messages from some of the stakeholders.
Drive carefully and we should obey the traffic law.
All our members, they are aware that they must buy this thing.
The rally was attended by members of various transport unions in the state, as well as representatives of National Union of Petroleum Exporting and Natural Gas, NUPENG. In Lagos, Rotimi Oluwagbemi, NTA News.
Public relations practitioners in the country have been challenged to initiate and promote ideas that will foster unity and sustainability of the country. This was the submission of speakers at the dinner and awards night to honor distinguished Nigerians. Ken Egbelgue reports that the event was organized by the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations in Lagos.
It was the gathering of professionals in the field of public relations from across the country. Their presence was to honor some of their own who, through their extra effort, have succeeded in enthroning the practice of public relations in their professional endeavors. Given the nation's current emerging realities, the president of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations stressed the important role of public relations in the dynamics of change, as well as its potential to drive the mechanism of governance.
Is a deliberate strategy to bring about innovations. It is a strategy to build relationships. It's a strategy to build structure and also to build reputation.
Awards were presented to notable public relations practitioners who, through the course of their practice, have carved a niche for themselves. Among the recipients was the Director General, Nigerian Television Authority, Yakubu Ibi Mohammed. He was represented by the Acting Zonal Director, Lagos Network Center.
This award is an appreciation to what NTA has been doing to Nigerian society. The way NTA has been pushing forward, uniting Nigeria and making things to work out.
My little contribution is also been seen and also been recognized, and it will spur me into doing more.
Some people are there watching what we are doing, and today we are being honored. I want to thank God.
The event was part of activities to mark the 2016 Conference of Directors and Heads of Public Relations in Nigeria in Lagos. Ken Igbeluge, NTA News.
And that report ends the news from Lagos. Back to Isaac in Abuja, who has more reports for Nationwide. Isaac, over to you.
Many thanks, Abdullahi. The wife of the president, Aisha Buhari, says she remains steadfast in supporting the administration of her husband, President Muhammadu Buhari, to successfully deliver on its mandates of improving the lives of Nigerian citizens, especially women and children. To that regard, Mrs. Buhari has flagged off the distribution of food items and other essential commodities to various families in Beni Sheikh town in Kaga local government area of Borno State to complement government's efforts in cushioning the effects of their hardship as a result of the activities of the insurgents in the area. State House correspondent Aliyu Kabir reports.
The 350 families who benefited from the gesture are drawn from the villages of Kaga local government area of Borno State. About 50 different kinds of food items, essential commodities and other household utensils comprising rice, sugar, milk, bedding, wrappers and semolina, as well as cooking and other kitchen utensils. The symbolic presentation of the items to the beneficiaries is a reflection of the commitment of the wife of the president in bringing succor to not only the IDPs but those affected by the crisis in the northeast through her massive mobilization of huge financial and material support by well-meaning Nigerians and other international donors as part of the Get Involved campaign launched in August this year as component of Future Assured.
I'm here today to flag off the distribution of the food items donated by well-meaning Nigerians from south to north to east to west. I thank all Nigerians.
Mrs. Buhari promised that she will leave no stone unturned in ensuring that all victims of insurgency in the state and other parts of the country benefit from this similar gesture.
We thank Almighty Allah for giving us the opportunity to start fulfilling the promises that we have made. That's the essence of having a leader. When you promise, you make sure that you fulfill your promises. And that is what we are all after. And that's what I'm after in particular, the success of my husband's administration. And he can't do it alone except with the help of the governor's wives, and all members of our progressive party.
While promising to remain committed in supporting the wife of the president in her effort for the upliftment of the living standard of women and children in Nigeria, the governor of Borno State, Kashim Shettima, and his wife, Nana, said their happiness for the love and commitment of the wife of the president in the healing process of the agony as the victims of insurgency knows no bound.
I want to thank our mother, Hajia Aisha Buhari. She has shown love and affection to Borno State.
I enjoy you, the beneficiaries and officials of this council, to remain steadfast in supporting this administration and be firm in your prayers for our state and national leaders to have the courage, zeal and wisdom to usher us into peace and prosperity.
The beneficiaries expressed their happiness with the gesture. In Maiduguri, Borno State capital, Aliu Kabir, NTA News.
Former head of state, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, has appealed for collaboration towards addressing farmers' herdsmen conflict, which has become a major source of security concern in the country. General Abdulsalami, who made the appeal while interacting with the Minister of Agriculture, Ondo, and governors of Kebbi and Niger states and the central bank in his farm in Mina, also expressed support for the federal government's initiative to establish ranches and grazing.
Input supply and value addition to produce for exports.
It was very soon by telling each of the zones in their areas of specialization. Meet here quite often the farmers at the beginning of season, halfway through, and harvest season. What are we doing next? Who is getting involved in what? Soil test results, what fertilizer to use, and where to find the fertilizer.
All the farms, everybody is building everywhere. And farmers like me, we have fenced our own farm. So these herdsmen have no place to go. So this is the biggest challenges we have. We must, as individual and as government, try to provide grazing and water point for these herds people. And as we are doing that, we must set schools for their children.
The visitors took time to tour the Mezube farms located along Mina Bidda Road in Niger State. In Mina, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, agriculture has been described as the biggest sector of the Nigerian economy as it has the capacity to address the issue of unemployment. Minister of Agriculture, Auduogbe, made the assertion while addressing participants of Course 25 at the National Defense College, Abuja. The assignment here is to intimate the course participants on efforts of the federal government in reviving agriculture as the mainstay of the Nigerian economy. Speaking on the role of agriculture to national economy, he expressed optimism that the agricultural sector in Nigeria has the potential to engage millions of persons, thereby checking the rise of unemployment, youth restiveness, and insecurity.
We're rushing in some rice mills, and we're distributing them in villages because we have a new program in the ministry called LIFE. We're moving machinery to rural areas. groundnut oil mills, rice mills, cassava processing, shea butter mills, spread them deep in the villages and hand them over to women and youth cooperatives to achieve two things. Cut down on imports, create more jobs, reverse migration, because many young men in the cities will definitely go home. The life in the village where they are landlords, where they are free, where they are making money, is definitely preferable to the life in Ajegunle or Mararaba here.
Earlier, the Commandant, National Defense College, Rear Admiral Samuel Ilesami Alade, had received the Indonesian ambassador to Nigeria, Harry Powanto, to discuss training of military personnel between the National Defense College and Indonesian Command Staff College, as well as peacekeeping operations. Borno State government to key into National Sugar Development Master Plan. These and more as we join Charles in our Makurdi Network Center. Hello, Charles. It's over to you now.
Hello, Isaac, and welcome to Makurdi. Security operatives have been tasked to foster closer inter-agency relations and evolve a watertight security network that can effectively tackle existing and new challenges in the country. This was at the Security Summit of Inter-Agency Security Chiefs organized by the Assistant Inspector General of Police for Agbola Oshodi Glover in Makurdi, the Benue State capital. Here are the details. Various security operatives have continued to step up their operations to meet up with the increasing security challenges in the country. It is to close ranks and share intelligence information as well as appraise the security situation in Zone 4, comprising Benue, Nasarawa and Plateau states, that the Assistant Inspector General of Police, Agbola Oshodi Glover, organized the summit. He said the summit is in consonance with the Inspector General of Police directive that joint operation centers be enhanced in each of the commands across the nation to improve performance.
Security agencies should therefore raise up to tackle incidences of kidnapping, armed robbery, terrorism and insurgencies which are threatening to overwhelm us as a nation.
The three commissioners of police of the zone, as well as other security heads who admitted the prevalence of armed robbery, farmers' herdsmen clashes, cultism, kidnapping and murder in their domain, said the summit is timely.
We have a joint operation room right in the command so that we can share information and derive intelligence, which is key also to fighting and crime.
The summit, which is the first since the creation of Zone 4 Police Headquarters, was attended by representatives of the Army, Navy, Nigerian Air Force, NDLEA, and others. National Sugar Development Council has identified land as major factor threatening the realization of the 10-year National Sugar Plan. Acting Executive Secretary and Chief Executive Officer of the Council, Mr. Samuel Ikwabe, stated this when he led other management staff of the Council on a visit to Governor Samuel Otom in Makurdi. Achigli Magaji reports.
The National Sugar Master Plan's year of implementation, which started in 2013, seeks to make Nigeria self-sufficient in sugar production. Mr. Ali Kwabe noted that already one of the 4 plants engaged in the master plan through private partnership has started producing 13,000 metric tons. About 5 sites have already been identified in the state, and the council now seeks the state government's partnership to commence work.
The 3 refineries were made to sign into backward integration program. The backward integration program is a kind of import substitution industrialization.
Governor Samuel Otom, who expressed delight over the development, said the project has a great potential to stimulate economic development in the state.
We have vast land there for sugarcane plantation. They can do well. With improved seedling, they can do excellently well.
The National Sugar Development Council was established in 1993 with the mandate to formulate policies for sugar production in the country and moderate operational guidelines. In Makurdi, Achigli Magaji,
NT News.
That report on National Sugar Development Council runs off a contribution from Makudi. Isaac, is back to you.
Many thanks, Charles. You're watching NTA Nationwide. Time now for a short break. The news continues right after this timeout.
From what we have seen, we have the capacity which we can rapidly develop or feed in ourselves. If we don't import rice, we stop importing corn and other grains, Nigeria will have plenty of money to invest into developing industries, especially manufacturing, textiles and so on, and develop iron and steel, and complement the infrastructure development. So really, the opportunities are virtually limitless, and we are very, very aware of this, and we are prepared to exploit it to the fullest.
With an increasingly volatile economy, there has never been a more fitting time to own your space and carve out new opportunities. Join over 1,000 women at the 15th Women in Management, Business and Public Service WIMBIZ Annual Conference as we discuss the next frontier, new landscape, new possibilities. Topics include beyond parity, inspiring the next generation of female leaders, women in mining, unlocking the Nigerian mining opportunities, and the billion naira tourism industry, monetizing the beauty within, among other topics. Date is Thursday the 3rd and Friday the 4th of November 2016, and the venue Echo Hotel and Suites, Victoria Island, Lagos. It starts at 8 a.m. prompt daily. To register, visit www.wimbizannualconference.com or call 0803-594-6249. WIMBIZ, 15 years of inspiring and empowering women.
The founder, Kwakwando Foundation for the Physically Challenged Persons, Senator Osita Izunaso, celebrates 50th and 11th anniversary of his foundation on the theme, Touching Lives. Keynote speaker, Bishop Matthew Kuka, Catholic Bishop of Sokoto Diocese. Venue, International Conference Center, Abuja. Date, Sunday, 30th October 2016. Time, 12 noon. Senator Osita Izunaso, announcer.
Who are you and what is your predicament?
Please, I'm looking for Candy. Who is living here? In this compound?
Oh no, this is a premises. The compound is an amalgam of chemicals, and there is no Candy living in this premises.
This week on your award-winning comedy series, Professor John Bull, starring Kanayo Okanayo, Mercy Johnson, Queen Wokoye, Funky Malam, Bimbo Akintola, Ime Bishop, Yomi Fash Lanso, MC for God.
Who was you? What was you found?
Auntie, I look at you. I going to look for my sister. I know you are poor.
Here. And he was found the place. Call me. Okay?
Say somebody.
She's definitely not my sister.
Shut up!
Professor John Bull, fasten your seatbelts this Tuesday and Friday, 8:30 to 9 p.m. on NTA Network, International, and Star Times. It's absolutely bombastic.
Over and out. The largest data network, Glow, grandmasters of data.
Marketing a service like television broadcast that is truly transient and subjective requires some degree of specialized knowledge and skills. Principles and Practice of Marketing is an intensive 4-week knowledge-sharing class that is geared towards television marketing, media buyers, corporate relations heads with some of the pure tools needed to maximize how best to meet the expectations of customers while remaining profitable. All participants will be exposed to key attributes of service marketing in both traditional and new frontiers of electronic media usage like customer retention, audience priming and rating. The session should not be missed by marketing heads in all radio and television houses, media heads in advertising, public relations agencies, media broadcast, brand support managers and heads of corporate affairs. Venue, NTA TV College Jaws. Date 31st October to 26 November 2016. Fees 100,000 naira only per participant, accommodation inclusive. NTA Television College Jaws, training you to be the best you want to be.
Hear the call of change. Stand up, Nigeria. Change is here and it's going to stay. Change begins with you. Oh yeah, make we go. So let the change begin from within. Look at you, Ogerula. Change begins with you and me. Change begins with me. Change begins with me.
For over 25 years, I have been privileged to anchor various programs on television. But the news program that I find most exciting and challenging is The Weekend File. This is largely because of its philosophy of engaging all classes of people, the artisans, politicians, technocrats, captains of industry, and professional analysts on issues that touch all aspects of life and living. In the conversations that follow, you find complexities, different views, ideologies, thought patterns, and individual beliefs. It's quite engaging. We do this Saturdays on NTA Network Service at 9 p.m. It's Weekend File, but you call it Weekend Companion, and it's all about nation building. Join me, Kirian Umayo, and production crew every Saturday for this weekend treat, and I can tell you that it is unmissable. Make it a day.
I'm glad you stayed. The federal government has brought to a close the Immigration Service Employment Stampede of 2014, which led to the death of 16 applicants. The Comptroller General of the Nigerian Immigration Service, Mohammed Babadinde, told journalists that 888 of the applicants have been recruited into the service. Mujanatu Adam Said reports.
It will be recalled that on Saturday, 15 March 2014, about 6.5 million applicants for immigration employment reported to various centers across the country for screening. Failure to properly manage the large number of applicants led to the death of 16 persons and injuries sustained by many others. The former government thereafter set up a committee to assist in the recruitment exercise instead of leaving the Civil Defense Corps, Fire, Immigration and Prison Services Board to carry out the exercise. It is this anomaly that Comptroller General of the Nigeria Immigration Service says the present government corrected before those found qualified were recruited.
Of those who lost lives, those who were injured, that had been treated already. They are already in the service. The compensation has already been done. They are already in the service. So it's a forgotten issue. We are talking about entirely another group now. Those people who got it after they did another recruitment.
So those that were even pregnant and had other criteria cleared, we make sure that they were recommended for reabsorption, and they were reabsorbed in the 888 they were talking about.
On the issue of Nigeria's porous borders, the Comptroller General Nigeria Immigration Service, Mohammed Babandede, say the service is re-strategizing for an efficient border. From the Nigeria Immigration Service headquarters in Abuja, Murijanatu Adam Said, NTA News.
Thank you, Mujanatu. Let's now join Chinyere in our Enugu Network Center as she gives us details of the public lecture on biotechnology held by Enugu State University of Science and Technology and other stories making the rounds in that zone.
Thank you, Isaac, and welcome to Enugu. Following the recommendation of the Nigerian Judicial Council, NJC, that the former Chief Judge of Enugu State, Justice Innocent Umezulike, be compulsorily retired on grounds of professional misconduct, the Enugu State House of Assembly has passed a resolution to that effect. This followed a letter from Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi requesting the House to abide by the requirements of the 1999 Constitution as amended. Susan Eze has details.
Requesting the State House of Assembly
to play its constitutional role in respect of the decision of the National Judicial Council was read at the hallowed chambers by the Speaker, Edward Obosi. The governor requested the House to do the needful in pursuant to Section 292, subsection 1AII of the 1999 Constitution as amended to allow him exercise his executive powers to compulsorily retire the former Chief Judge of the state following his suspension by the National Judicial Council. Dissolving into a committee of the whole to consider the latter, the House members described the compulsory retirement order of the former Chief Judge of Enugu State, Justice Innocent Umezulike, as unfortunate. The House thereafter passed the resolution for the compulsory retirement of Justice Umezulike as recommended by the NJC. Also at plenary, the House Committee Chairman on Education, Elochukwu Ugweze, presented the report of the further investigation of his committee on the recent recruitment exercise by the Enugu State Universal Basic Education Board, ENSUBEB. The House accepted the report and recommendations of the committee. In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
The need to make Nigerian educational system more functional has been described as the best approach towards curbing agitation that has become the order of the day in the society. Key players in the education sector harped on this at an educational conference held at the Enugu State College of Education Technical. Ngozi Silva Technical completes the report.
The conference has as its theme resolving the increasing trend of agitations in Nigeria through functional education. The chairman of the occasion, as well as the deputy provost of the college, harped on the importance of educating the various agitators in the country, whose actions, they said, are based on lack of education or not being properly informed. They therefore tasked the participants to come up with a workable approach to curb the menace.
Most of those who are participating in such agitations are either misinformed or not informed at all. I am confident that with the caliber of persons assembled in this auditorium, that we will be able to come up with suggestions to strengthen the education system.
The Director, Academic Planning of the Enugu State College of Education Technical, Mr. Chidi Ozochi, said the federal government is channeling huge sum of the nation's revenue into fighting insurgency or agitators such as the Boko Haram, the Niger Delta Avengers, among others, adding that the fight should not be left for the military alone. Lectures were delivered on different methods of using functional education to quench the increasing trend of agitations. The conference is expected to rediscover the link between education and societal problems with a view to finding a workable solution. In Enugu, Ngozi Silva Technical, NTA News.
The Vice Chancellor, Enugu State University of Science and Technology, Professor Luke Anike, says his tenure will create a platform for extensive research for staff and students in the institution. He made the promise at the first public lecture organized on biotechnology. Kelechi Ochaga reports.
Speaking on the significance of biotechnology in Nigerian institutions, the Vice Chancellor urged the students to embrace the trend, which is geared towards academic excellence.
You will gain from the discipline of listening to a public lecture, and that will energize you to start doing your own work in your area.
Presenting a paper-tagged public-private partnership in the development of medical countermeasures, role of technology transfer. A guest speaker, Dr. Chris Nwogu, emphasized that technology transfer is a major facilitator in bringing concepts and innovations to end users. He maintained that partnerships between non-governmental organizations, universities, governments, and other stakeholders are focusing on disease prevalence in developing countries as a result of biotechnology. The Director, Biotechnology Center, ESUT, Professor U. George Okafor, acknowledged that biotechnology is geared towards excellence in development of modern skills and knowledge in higher institutions. Other university scholars who participated in the biotech lecture described it as a natural solution to human problems. Biotechnology Center is a non-profit oriented technology center that utilizes living cells or processes to generate new and useful products. In Enugu, Kelechi Ochiara, NTA News.
That's the much you have for you from here. It's back to you, Isaac.
Jerry, thanks for your contribution. As part of the federal government's efforts to diversify the economy through agriculture to ensure food security and job creation, the Minister of Water Resources, Suleiman Adamu, has flagged off the Graduate Farmers Employment Scheme of the Anambra-Imo River Basin Development Authority in Owerri, Imo State. Aliu Tukur has details.
The Graduate Farmers Employment Scheme is established to boost agriculture through irrigation farming and also create opportunities that will address the challenges of food insecurity, poverty, environmental degradation and unemployment. The scheme is a continuous one engaging selected participants in batches of 50 graduates who will be trained in various agricultural activities. The beneficiaries will be empowered to establish their own agri ventures or becoming trainers, thereby creating multiplier effect to further sustain the objectives of the program.
We don't want the river basins to be doing erosion control projects or street light, or rehabilitating schools. No, we want them to concentrate on doing earth dams, irrigation systems, maintaining their dams and irrigation facilities, and the farms that we have, making sure they provide. We also want to restore extension services now. What we are doing is that we are training the locals on this method of implementing farming. So you see, we are working hand in hand with the Songhai farm in Porto Novo.
The scheme will help the youth and the community at large in the areas of curbing youth restiveness.
The scheme, which is part of the effort to reposition the River Basin Development Authorities to perform their core mandate, will be replicated in all the 109 senatorial districts across the country. Aliu Tukur, NTA News.
Let's now join Femi Chit in our Just Network Center for their contribution nationwide.
Hello and welcome to JOS. Plateau State's Deputy Governor, Professor Sonny Tioden, said the amnesty window given by the government for those illegally in possession of firearms and ammunition to surrender them closes on the 31st of December this year. Paul Dama reports that Professor Tioden stated this when he received participants of the Course 14 of the Nigerian Army College of Logistics, Lagos, on study tour of the state.
Professor Sonny Tioden recalled that the governor had last week announced amnesty for those who surrender arms illegally in their possession while inspecting weapons recovered from different parts of the state by the Operation Safe Haven. Professor Tioden said the amnesty period ends on the 31st of December this year.
All those who still have arms, I think it is in their own interest to surrender those arms between now and then without any penalty. But after 31st December, the law will take its normal course.
He assured them that government will continue to partner with the army, especially as their study of the state has afforded them the opportunity to identify areas of collaboration. Leader of the delegation and commander of the Nigerian Army College of Logistics, Lagos, Major General Joseph Oropo, who gave an overview of the college, said it was established to train middle cadre officers in the area of logistics in the field using modern techniques while undergoing rigorous exercises. He said it is his firm belief that their visit to the state, with its rich natural and industrial endowments, will further enhance their studies.
Looking at all the natural and industrial endowments of Plateau State, how we can stimulate the establishment of a sound military industrial complex.
Participants of the course are drawn from the Army, Navy and the police. In Jos, Paul Dama, NTA News.
Plateau State's Commissioner for Health, Dr. Kuden Kamshak, has advised those in stressful jobs to always go for medical attention to avert sudden health challenges. He was speaking at the free medical outreach organized by the Nigerian Television Authority Just Network Center Chapel of the NUJ for members, staffers, management and other journalists in the state. Ekemrem Kaneng Laduja has the report.
Stress is said to be inevitable in the news department, especially in view of the digital age, which packs on the pressure of tight deadlines and breaking news on the journalist. Research also reveals that 1 in 8 journalists are stressed, and this takes its toll on co-workers, spouses, children, friends, and even the audience of the journalist. It is on this trust that the chapel organized the outreach themed Stress Management Amongst Journalists in a Diseased Society. The Commissioner for Health, Dr. Kuden Kamshak, said stress management is necessary for all.
As a government, we continue to collaborate with you, particularly when it comes to free medical outreaches like this.
The Zonal Director, NTA Network Center, Jos, the representative of the Provost, Federal College of Medical Laboratory Technology, Jos, and the Chairman, NUJ Plateau State Council, commended the chapel for a job well done.
This establishment demonstrated they have love for their members.
To take very good care of themselves, in as much as our jobs are demanding, we must know that to do the job, we must be alive.
Our contribution in making sure that the health of well-being of our members is taken care of.
The newsletter was then unveiled. This is the second edition of the medical outreach organized by the chapel. In Jos, Ekemaran Kaneng Ladoja, NTA News.
And it's a wrap from this end. Isaac, it's back to you for more news.
Many thanks, Femichit. Way to go. Now sports. Countdown to December Legends Wrestling Competition for National Unity begins as Nigeria Basketball Federation seeks improvement for the sport. Ayodeji Makinde is our guide on Sports Update.
The need for all tiers of government to develop sports at the grassroots as a major booster of national unity has again been emphasized by stakeholders in Abuja during the official torch lightning by former head of state General Yakubu Gowon to mark the countdown to the forthcoming Legends Wrestling Championship slated for December 9 to 10 in Enugu.
It's time we begin to change the narrative, and so to do so we need to use sports, which we believe is something that's common to every Nigerian.
The Legends Wrestling level is a thrust of a 2-day board meeting of the Nigeria Basketball Federation, which started Friday in Abuja. President of the Nigeria Olympic Committee, Habu Gumel, commended the Youth Development Initiative of the NBBF and called for early preparation by all federations ahead of 4 major competitions holding between 2017 and 2019. As the 2016 Interior Games set to climax Saturday in Kaduna, correspondent Benny Adams reports that the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps is leading the medal table with 7 gold, 6 silver and 3 bronze medals, followed by Nigeria Prisons with 2 gold and a bronze medal. Meanwhile, correspondent Lekon Kilajelu in Katsina reports that NAF Training Command Kaduna are set to emerge champions after an impressive 21 gold, 15 silver and 14 bronze on day 5 of the 8th Nigerian Air Force Games, which ends Saturday with a novelty match between the selected teams of Governor Aminu Bello Masari and Air Chief Sadiq Abubakar at the Muhammadu Diko Stadium Saturday. With Sports Update, Ayodeji Makinde, NTA News.
Well, that does it on Nationwide today. Thanks for watching. Do have a lovely weekend. Good evening.